Hey guys, Latios here. I'm back with another video. This is my video review for Ultimate Valkyrie um, Legacy Variable Dash 9. So this is a little bit late. I've just been having a very busy past 2 months. So I'm sorry it took a while, and it is already almost 1 a.m. and I still have a ton of things to do still. Like I said, I've just been super busy because I've also been working on other projects as well, unrelated to Beyblade. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna make this video like I did my Greatest Raphael review because that's just gonna require editing, and I just want to upload this video but still talk about this Beyblade. So with that out of the way, let's just get into the review because I do have a lot to say about this. So Ultimate Valkyrie was a very big hyped up Beyblade because it's callbacks to all of the other Valkyries, how it might be the last Valkyrie, and how it literally just looks so cool. But the hype ends with how it looks, and it's homage to all the other Valkyries. Basically, this Valkyrie is meh. For me, there's only really one good part, which we'll get to in a little bit. So first, I did mention this in my unboxing. As you can see, there's like this part here, the wings. It's facing it to the left. This chip, its overall shape, everything about this Valkyrie is an homage to all of the other Valkyries, and that's really cool. And I was gonna go into detail, really like pointing out each one, but I'm not going to do that because again I still have a ton of stuff to do, so I just would rather focus on the big things. So yeah, just be aware. As you guys can see, it definitely has callbacks to all the other Valkyries. um, so I just dismantled it because I want to talk first about, sorry about that, I wanted to talk first about Variable Dash. I really like the color for it. It's pretty cool. I don't think there is. Yeah, there's no like little glitter effect in it, but that's fine. So I have a lot to say about Variable. It's not one of my favorite drivers. I think there's a lot better rubber drivers, such as Extreme. For me, I think that's better, just because it's so hard to control. As you can see, well, Variable is hard to control, but as you can see, I did not really use this variable. I only used it literally like in one or two battles. So it's still intact for the most part. And the reason why I didn't use this is because it's going to take a while. And again, I've just been busy and I just wanted to do testing. So what I ended up doing instead was I got Valkyrie, and it already comes with a variable driver. And so, and because I got it when it released, it's basically already awakened. So for the most part, I don't know if those little bumps right there will also leave, but it's fine. um, so basically I put this variable when testing Ultimate Valkyrie because I know that that one is not a dash driver. So you wouldn't really be able to see how it's going to benefit from the dash driver. But I think it was important to use that variable driver instead of using this one because it's already awakened and it's going to show the end result of its actual performance. So that was the point of using the original variable driver. Um, since we're talking about that, because I was not a dash driver and this one is, I was able to see how its teeth, the teeth performance, and it's meh. It's okay. It's not super strong. It's definitely best with a variable driver for sure. But it's not gonna explode and burst very easily either. So even with a regular driver, so it's good. It's good, but just not almost unburstable as it would be with a dash driver. So, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of dash drivers. Variable drivers. They're just really hard to control the Beyblade. I personally prefer other rubber drivers. Even, like I said, in the burst format, I personally prefer like Extreme or something like that, just because it's easier. Now, so yeah, so it's basically a rant. So I'm not really happy that we got a variable driver. But because again, it's just really hard to control. It is good though for some combinations, but not for this one. Even with it being awakened, it's just way out of control, and that's not what you need. But we'll get to that in a bit. The legacy disc, as you can see, is also reminiscent of other discs from the Valkyries, which is really cool. So it's a really cool disc. Really like it. It's nice. Its design is cool, but again, that's where it falls apart after, because its design is cool, but its function is meh. It's almost as good as some of the other Valkyrie driver discs that look like this. There isn't really anything too different about this one. It's still really nice though, but I feel like because of it being a Dynamite disc, and if you're gonna use it in high mode, it's not gonna be helpful at all for you. Not too much. We'll get to that. Let me actually get Valkyrie in high mode so that I can explain what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so with it in high mode, well, we might as well talk about it in high mode in general, but we'll get to that in a minute. With it in high mode, due to the shape of the disc here, they're basically like little ramps. And I did a lot of testing against Dynamite Baneo, and I noticed that at one point, Dynamite Baneo was on low mode, and it literally like rolled up this disc. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It literally like came in there like that, and like rolled it up, and like just kept knocking Ultimate Valkyrie out of balance. And then it just like started stumbling. So that is a big disappointment for this disc, because a Beyblade can, if it's thin enough and in low mode, ride up this and completely knock this Beyblade off balance. When this Beyblade is in high mode, it does okay, but it's mostly just good at knocking Beyblades out of balance. Because at the same time, even though it is like sloped, it does a good job at like making the Beyblade like lose balance, especially because if it hits it in low mode, like a Beyblade in low mode, it will still like make it go a little bit unbalanced. But that's really the best thing that this is for, is just making a Beyblade a little bit unbalanced. But the drawbacks to all of that is really, really not that good. So this Beyblade overall, and I'm like rushing through this. I'll put my actual like, because as I was testing it, I was writing out notes and stuff. I'll post the actual notes of everything for this Beyblade in the description below, just because again I'm not going to be demonstrating this since I just want to record this and just upload it. So I'm sorry if it seems really rushed, but take a look at the description to read my actual analysis of the Beyblade as a whole. I did also test it out for stamina, defense, balance, and attack, the Beyblade as a whole. And it sucks for stamina, not really good for absorbing, so it's not really good for defense or attack in that way. And it does okay for defense for a specific reason why. So we'll get to that. So let me just put this back in low mode, and we'll get to that reason in a minute. Okay, so we're back. Before we get to the layer, let's talk about the armor. The armor is 9. It's okay. It's pretty circular. It's pretty average, I guess. It doesn't really do too much. So yeah, it's just gonna be an okay armor. It's not gonna add too much weight or anything like that. Now, in terms of the core, the Valkyrie core, unfortunately, the chip in there is not metal, so it's not giving it more weight in the middle. There's no gimmick like there is in Savior Valkyrie's core. So that's a little disappointing. So this Valkyrie core, even though it looks cool, it's reminiscent of other Valkyries, it's not going to be the best Valkyrie core to use for that Dynamite series. So the only actual good part for this Beyblade is the ultimate layer. And I say that because this is where I say that I was testing it with everything. So after I finished testing the Beyblade with the variable driver, I decided to test it out in each mode. So I used high extend plus dash because you can switch the modes from stamina to balance, defense, and attack. So that way I would get like a better understanding of how this Beyblade would behave in those kinds of combinations. And what I found out is interesting. Again, it sucks for stamina, and I go better in detail in the description below. But what I found out about this Beyblade is that it does okay for defense, but not in the way that you're thinking. It's not trying to hit like withstand all of the attacks. It's not like that. What I'm saying by defense is its defense is a little bit different because this Beyblade has a lot of recoil. So if you mix your parts right, what you can do is have it be like a balance type where it's focused on attack and defense. Have the layer and the tip be have the tip be a like wide ball or type tip. Sorry, I'm using modified terms. Just a tip that has a good balance of attack and defense, such as this second option here from Greatest Raphael. So that's the one that I tested in terms of defense, where it kind of stayed in place but then would move around, something like that. You want something like that because you're gonna have more control, because like I said, this Beyblade has a lot of recoil, so when it hits a Beyblade, it like goes backwards sometimes. So what this Beyblade is good for is attacking, but because of its recoil, it will back away, so it's like defending itself. So it's good for attack and run, and attack and run due to its recoil. So that basically makes it kind of defensive in a way. But again, it's not a defensive as in like withstanding attacks. It's a defensive as in being able to escape easily, but then coming back for another attack without getting stuck in a loop, of like just circling around waiting. So it's good for that. The thing is, too, this Beyblade this layer is amazing for attack. This layer literally does one hit KOs or one hit bursts on Beyblades, and it will send the Beyblade flying. So that's why you need specific parts with this layer to be able to really control this Beyblade, because it has so much recoil and because it does one hit KOs, and it attacks hard, like really really hard. Even like simple launches, it does attack really hard. So it's amazing for attack, but you want to have it be controlled. You need to definitely customize this Beyblade like crazy, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the only good part, because it's great for being able to run away when it hits a Beyblade. So, and even if a Beyblade comes and hits it, because it has all that recoil, it's good. It's gonna like run away again. Again, good for a balanced mixing defense and attack, focusing on attack and leaving defense as the second option. So that's what I found with this Beyblade. The only good part is definitely this layer. It's super competitive for attack types. So if you're going up against this Beyblade or a Beyblade with this layer, definitely be careful, because it's very very good at one hit KOs, knockouts, stadium outs. It can throw your Beyblade completely off balance, and it's just very very good at bursts. So be careful when you face this layer. But again, if you're facing this layer and the rest of the parts and the combination isn't that good, then you're basically gonna win, because it's gonna be too hard to control, and it will self knockout or self unbalance and stuff like that, like you using bad parts. So this is a Beyblade. This is a Beyblade that really really needs very specific parts, and very specific combinations, and that the parts that it comes with needs to be used for specific types of combinations that you're trying to achieve. I also did notice that this Beyblade in high mode tends to go around the stadium a lot faster, but in low mode, it tends to stay more towards the center of the stadium. And this Beyblade is the best in low mode because that's when its attack power is at its peak. That's when it's being able to really do the damage, because you're hitting a Beyblade in high mode. When it's in low mode, this is still going to be hitting the ring, maybe part of the top of the Beyblade, but it's definitely still going to be doing damage and still working its effect. In high mode, like I said, it's very easy to get it off balance, especially with this disc. And also, if it's in low mode, doesn't matter if it, again, I know I just said that, but doesn't matter if the opponent Beyblade is in high mode or low mode, this is going to do a lot of damage. And then if it's in low mode, it's definitely going to be doing damages. So really, like I said, the best part for this is the layer, but only when used for very specific types of combinations. So anyway, that's basically my review for Ultimate Valkyrie. It's a little bit of a letdown, but it looks really cool. So with all of that said, again, read the description for my actual like in-depth written thoughts on it, because again, I wrote the things in the description as I was testing the Beyblade and like changing the parts and doing everything. So those were like my initial, like at the moment, on the spot, 100% fresh thoughts and analysis of the Beyblade, because right now I'm just going off of memory. But it's basically accurate what I'm saying to what I've written. But yeah, just read it in the description below. Anyway, guys, with all of that said, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.